Hey there, and thank you for dropping by my latest process video. This video is for the Creative Scrappers Sketch Challenge number 279. The sketch is posted on their website, which I will link to in the description. So, what I'm doing here is I'm trying to use up pretty much one of my Studio Calico kits that I have on hand. Um, as of lately, I've noticed that they don't really the Studio Calico kits don't really suit my style of scrapbooking, but for the purpose of using up the kit, I'm trying to use it with this sketch. So I'm layering some of the vellum polka dot paper that we received in our kit onto some of the red cardstock that we also got in our kit. What ended up happening here though is while making this layout, I ran out of the red cardstock that I wanted to use. It was my main solid color. So what I ended up doing was just grabbing one from my stash. So no big deal, just, something that happened. So I'm just essentially, if you go to the blog post where the sketch details are found, you can see that the sketch calls for a grid kind of pattern on the as part of the main layout. So what I do here is I take that grid and I layer it on a background piece, the 4 square grid, layer it on a background piece and layer the background piece on a bunch of different mattings as well. I cut down the background of the grid to fit the smaller squares a bit better. I was going to make it a little bit bigger than what you see, but in the end, I decided not to because of the fact that, like, I wanted to still see well, actually, a lot of the background because I do like the background of this paper. And I know that you can see the adhesive behind the vellum right now, but as I go and I continue the sketch or continue building the layout rather, you'll see that those get covered up. And I guess while you guys are watching, the picture is of one of my cats. Her name is Sweet Pea. She's the fattest cat in the house, and she's on a diet right now, but for being such a large cat, she enjoys laying on things and trying to jump on things, even though it doesn't quite work all the time. So I found it really cute. She was on top of a one of those underbed storage things that we had, and it was in the hallway, and she found herself on it. So just there, I was trying to see if I could use that little paper bag or paper pocket thing that came in the kit on the layout, but it just wasn't happening. So here I'm using some of the Studio Calico little tag sticker things that they have going on here, or label stickers, and I layer it on a piece of cardstock and another piece of vellum as well. One thing for me is I really hate having scraps left over from a layout. I try and use my scraps as much as possible, like within a layout, because I don't tend to go back and use those same colors again within another layout, or at least not as main colors or, sub colors. So I try and use up as many pieces from the paper that I use for the layout as part of the layout. And here I'm just using some scrap gray cardstock that I had left over from a previous layout that, I needed to get rid of or felt like I needed out of the kit. And so I'm just layering that on the red squares of the red panels that I've already placed down. This strip here is for the bottom strip that is part of the sketch. If you, once again, go ahead and take a look at the sketch on the Creative Scrappers website, you will see that there's a little strip that they have. The strip that they have on the sketch actually is overlaid on top of the grid pattern. I did not want to do that. I didn't really have an idea as to how it was going to happen in the first, like when I first started, but as I was going, I realized I didn't want to do that because I would then feel like I needed to use like some kind of a contrasting color, in order to make it show up on the grid, and it just, no. So what I ended up doing is I moved that strip down and I put it on the opposite corner, along the opposite corner of the scrapbook page or of the layout. And it was initially going to be right to the edge. I initially planned it to be right to the edge, but then I realized since the other side, or the other corner did not go right to the edge, I decided to stop it short. So now I'm just trying to figure out what else I'm going to add. I added another label sticker to that bottom strip. Now I'm just doing some journaling. I didn't let you guys sit and watch through all the journaling. After doing the journaling, what I decided to do is add some border lines because I wasn't really feeling how there was nothing going on the edges. So I do a double line around the entire page. And then once I'm done doing those, or drawing those lines out on around the entire page, I continue to add the remaining layers to the other two squares that were part of the grid. So at this point, I wasn't really sure how I was going, like what I was going to do with those squares, because, the sketch kind of calls for four or three pictures and a title, but I don't have three pictures of the cat in this. Well, maybe I do, but regardless, I didn't have three pictures for this layout of the cat in this position, so I didn't feel like doing three pictures of Sweet Pea, so I just decided I was going to kind of fill up those squares with other things. So one of the things that I use is another one of those labels from that label sticker sheet. Then I cut out one of the page titles in order to use that as another label, and part of essentially that would be the title, is the Shutterbug that is easy to spot, because she never has any issues, like Sweet Pea never has any issues with having her picture taken or anything, so she's probably the most photogenic cat that I have, and I have three cats. So now I'm just adding some of the bling that came in the kit to the page. Then now I'm trying to find a way to use these sequins. I really dislike sequins. I just really dislike them, but Studio Calico is famous for having a lot of sequins in a lot of their kits, so I'm really trying to use them just to say I have used them and I've gotten them out of my kit. So what I do is I use my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive and I place my dots down where I want to place the sequins, and I just place the sequins on top. And sometimes, they come back up, they stick to my finger or to my nail as I place them down. So sometimes I need to hold them down a bit in order to keep them stuck to the page. And that yellow stripe label thing that I cut, that's not glued down yet, and I don't know why I didn't glue it down right away, like as soon as I put it down, but it does get glued down eventually. So right here is where I glue it down, and that's just the opposite side of the piece that I cut when I was cutting the title strip of the page, easy to spot. And this label will not have anything on it. It's just there purely for having something in that box. So now I grabbed the leftover rub-ons that I have from this kit. I don't have many left, so I'm just finishing them up on this layout. So that one that you can't really read very well actually says, I think it says, this is how I remember it, or something along those lines. It says, Oh no, exactly as I remember is what it says. Then the one I rub onto the photo directly says today. And then there's just this one that I have left of this arrow, and that one is just a plain arrow, and I just rub it on underneath that yellow label just to have something else there. And I throw in a sequin there because the arrow felt like it was floating a bit, and I use the sequin to ground it a little bit better. At this point, I'm adding some adhesive hearts to the layout. These did not come in the kit. These were actually just on my desk sitting to my right, and I saw them and they were red, so I decided let's use them up on this layout. I think I got these at the dollar store. And now I'm trying to find something else to use on the layout. I don't feel like it's complete. I find this um, transparency Polaroid, and once again, it's not from the kit. I think it might be a Studio Calico transparency though, but it's not from this kit. But I decided I'm gonna layer it on top of the photo of Sweet Pea in kind of like it's off centered, and I like the way that looks. Then here I'm actually using a cutout that I made using my Cricut. It was also just sitting on my desk to the right. There's a lot of stuff you guys don't see to the right. My little crap stash of stuff that I use partially, and yeah, so that little heart border is one of those things. I'd cut it out with my Cricut to use it on a previous layout, never happened, and it just sat there. So I'm kind of happy I get to use it on this layout because the color works. So now that I've added that heart uh, cutout, what I do is I add some more sequins in order to make it so it kind of flows a bit better. It doesn't just look like floating hearts on the page. And because it's such a thin die cut, I don't want to add too much adhesive to it so it overflows. At this point, I'm adding some of the star sequins to the edge of the page, but the battery on the camera dies, so you guys will not see all of it, but the photos are coming up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I have some news coming up in the very near future that you guys should stay tuned for, and I hope you do. Please do visit my blog as well. The link is in the description, and I will see you guys again soon. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye for now.